Okay. So today, what are the things we're going to learn? Okay. CSS. So last, I will just go through once again. So what is CSS? Okay, so CSS is a cascading style sheet, not a programming language. It's used for to make styling. Okay, it's a styling language used for website layout and design. Okay, so layout is the layout will come as a in a flex concept. So I will teach you later that. So now we actually changing some design element using colors and background colors like that way. So in to do that we need some CSS. Okay, so that is. So I will teach you later the SAS and this. It's a preprocessor. So we saw the three methods for adding CSS: inline CSS, internal CSS, external CSS. So is there any doubt in this three types of adding CSS in our file?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, super. So again, we saw this class. We didn't see the, okay. We also saw the class, right? So we had some name on the element. So we call the name using the dot selector. Okay. So you have any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Okay.
Bro,
So
once explain it, bro.
yeah. Once again, I want to explain this, right?
Yeah, bro.
Okay. So here we have some H3, right? So here we have some H3. This H3 takes hey. So if I open this out in here, it actually returning me hey. Okay. So I want to change this specific thing. Okay. So I want to change this specific thing to the blue color. So how can I call? If I call this as a H3, okay. So H3 color should be in a blue. You see what is actually going to happen. All three got changed to the blue color. Okay. So how can we call that specific element to in our style sheet? So to do that, we just give me which we just give some names here. Okay, called a heading, like, okay. For example, to make sense, I will make the name as blue heading. Okay. So blue heading. Now the style is going to apply for this H3 only because we have reference some name to that element. Okay, the H3 element. So if I instead of calling the H3, so why all the H3 got changed means here we have some all of the H3. Okay, even it has some unique name, but we have not called the name here into the HTML file. So what the machine understand, so they are actually calling the H3. So I want to update the all the H3. Okay, so here you see this H1 is having some name. We call the name and we change to the background color so that it has some background color and also the color of the text. So now I target H3. So it omit this one because we actually called here. So we have not called the heading 2, heading 3, blue heading. So what happened here, it actually changed the all the yeah, extra 3 headings here. Okay, so what if I gave a if now I gave some name to this first heading element. So I call the heading element here. Okay, so this time instead of calling H3 to color blue, I'm just calling that name. Okay, the specific name to that element, it's a blue heading. I'm calling the name using the dot selector. So the class, if you want to call the class attribute, so you have to make sure to have the dot in front of the class name, what you're having, what you're actually giving in your HTML document. Okay, I will give you the example of there is a ID selector also. I will give you later that. So now that part only change it to the blue color. Okay, bro, now you understand.
Yes, bro.
Okay, so now we have colors in CSS. Okay. So there is a 4 or 5 types of color, 5 or 6 types of colors. So I don't know, they will use some web animation kind of colorings. Okay, but we not gonna use that. So for the gaming development they will use that. So as a web developer, what the color we use in our project means as a name. Okay, the color name is what the actual color name we're going to give, else the hexadecimal. Okay, I will give you how this color is actually generating, how do we use this color. Okay, and there is a RGB color. So it's kind of R is for red, green, blue. Okay, So don't worry, you don't want to remember all this color code and all. You're just going to pick the color from the design where the designer is actually giving the file. For example, now what we did, we are actually in the last previous session, we using the name, color name. Okay, so we're giving the color name. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just make sure to open my Figma design, some designs. Okay. So if I come down, there is that one, the design. So, okay, I will just open this. So, what is the color name? Just anyone tell me what is this color name?
Yellow.
Okay, yellow, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to make sure to have some div here. Okay, so the div, it's an empty div. Okay, it's an empty div. We have not see any changes here, right? So I'm just going to give some width and height to it. Okay, to the div. So, and also I'm going to have some class here. So class called box. Okay. So now the box is going to have some properties. So the box takes the width. Okay, the width is 100 pixel and the height is 100 pixel. Okay. So if I come back to the browser and if I open the Chrome browser and try to inspect the element, so here the box is here. Okay, you see the blue, actually here the div is actually selecting here. You see why it's not actually showing anything, means the color is actually transparent. Okay, so we have to give some color. So the background color is, the box background color is, I'm just giving as a red now. Okay, so now we got a red box here. Okay, so now we gave the color as a name, red or kind of thing. So you said yellow, right? So I'm giving yellow. So this color is not matched to this color, right?
Yes,
So
bro.
here only we're going to use the hexadecimal. Okay, we need that exact code of that color. Every color has some own unique code. So how do we use that? So if you click this, all designer will give you this design file. Okay, using Figma or Adobe XD, InVision kind of things. I will teach you the basics of Figma once we get into that. When we actually good at the basics, and once we start creating a project, so I will teach you the Figma also. So now, for now, what I'm going to do, I'm just click this. Okay, I'm just selecting this. It open me some options here. You see here I have a selection colors. Okay, this is the code of this color. Okay, this is the code of this color. If I click this, this is the code of this color. Okay, so this is not an yellow, this is some other color. So I just copy that code. Instead of calling the yellow here, I want to use the hash in front of the color number. Okay, so this is the hexa code. So before that hexa code, you have to use the hash. So without if you have not called the hash here, it shouldn't work. Okay, so if I go back here, now this is the exact color what we pick from here. Okay, so this is the hexadecimal. So there is a lot of code. You don't want to remember all the things. You don't want, actually don't want to remember the thing. You always going to pick that. So I actually have some browser extension also. If you want this color, you can pick that color also. Okay, so don't worry about that. So this is just some tool. Okay, you're just going to pick that out. That's it. So this is the hexadecimal. Okay, now you understand.
Yes, bro.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make sure to have another box here. So this box should be, this one is a box one, this one is to be a box two. So this one is, yeah, box one, and I'm going to create some box two here, the same width and height. Just give some the same width and height. Okay, so if I come back here, so we have two box. Okay, this one and this one. So I want to change the color to the some other color. So what the color we just change, I'm just going to use this color. Okay, so I'm just click this and I'm just copy this code. I'm back to my VS code and paste here. So now the color is actually changing here. Okay, so now the color changed. So this one is this color and this one is a different color. Okay, so now there is an RGB, right? So there is an RGB. You don't want to, the VS code is something beautiful. Okay, because they make some developer life easier. If you want to make to this color code as a RGB, just hover this color box. Okay, and then go to the top of this color input. So just click that. Okay, the HSL, this is not we going to use in our web development project. Even I don't know what is actually, and also this is we not going to use. So this is RGB. Okay, this is the exact color code of what you pick from their Figma. Okay, so this is RGB code. So I just save this. So now the color is also applied here. Okay, so this is RGB. So there is an RGBA. Okay, I'm giving the box 3 here, and the box 3 is going to have some other different color. For example, box 3, this one, I'm just going to, you can pick the color here itself. Okay, to get the exact color, you have to pick the color code from another Figma file. Okay, so Figma or somewhere like using some extension like that way. So this is an RGB now. So this color is now actually a blue. Okay, so everything good. So what is RGBA? So if I pass the A here after RGB, I can pass another parameter here. The parameter is the 1 parameter, 2 parameter, 3 parameter. It is actually having 3 parameter, because why means it's actually having some parentheses in between the numbers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, it's called a parameter. So here we have 4 parameter, because you see RGBA. So I can pass the A here. What the A? So if I'm passing 1 here, okay, so there is no change actually, right? So there is no change. What if I pass 0.9 here? There is a slight change, but we can't able to notice that. But if I change this to 0.5, you see the color opacity is actually getting decreased. You see that, right? We are actually making that color is we actually how do we say, we actually reducing that color brightness. Okay, so that's it. So that is what RGBA. So don't worry about this color. These types of color we going to use in a CSS. To get the exact color, we going to pick using the Figma or some browser extension like that way. So all colors has some unique code. So we're going to use that in our project. Okay, so that's it. You have any doubt?
No, bro.
No, sir.
Okay, so then
Bro, suppose we give more than one, how we
you
do
cannot
it?
able to give that more than one color using like this way, right? It should actually takes the first color only, I think. Actually, you want to give us a gradient, right? You are asking about the gradient, huh?
Yes, bro.
So I will teach you the gradient later. Okay, so just now keep stick with this. Okay, the hexadecimal and RGB and RGB. Okay, I will teach you the gradient color, the linear and radial kind of things. I will teach you later. Okay, so just check what is going to happen. If I give that blue here, we'll check what is going to happen. So if I come back here, I don't know what's actually going to happen. The color is not applying here. Okay, why? Because the syntax is wrong. Okay, you understand?
Yes, bro.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so if you have any doubt, make sure to try it out. Okay, so go and try it, so then you can learn some lesson from there of your doubts. So now we have now what we have. So the font types and font families. Okay, so there is a two types there is a two types of there is two types of font. A lot of types of font is there. Okay, they're kind of 4 or 5, I think, but in the web they use only two types of fonts. One is serif and another one is sans serif. What are the difference between the serif and sans serif is the serif is actually having some kind of sharp ending when the corner of the font. Okay, you see everything is sharp here. Okay, so for the sans serif we have some smooth font here. You see, so this one is a sharp ending and this one is the smooth ending. So this is the difference between the serif and sans serif. So for example, so now what I'm going to do now here, so here I'm just going to create some h1 here. Okay, I'm just going to have some h1 here. This h1 takes hello buddy, how you doing? Okay, so hello buddy, how you doing? So I save this style.css. So now if I come back to my CSS, so this is actually, so I take this CSS h1, where is that h1 so I think here we put that in an internal. Okay, so I just command it out. So here we have hello buddy, how you doing? So now you see the hello buddy, how you doing is actually outputting. So what just try to find out what font type is serif or sans serif.
Serif.
Yeah, okay, serif.
Serif.
Why? Because the all end of the corner of the font is very sharp, right? It's not looks good on actually psychologically fact. The serif font is very hard to learn. Okay, it's very hard to as a psychological fact in the web. So once we change to the sans serif, it make the eye views very clean and cool. Okay, the user will not get some disturbance when they are reading the paragraph or kind of things. So this is the serif font. So how can I change that some other type to the sans serif? So the default font is serif. The default font is serif. How can I change the serif to sans serif type? For example, if I call the H1 here, okay. So the H1. So there is a default font in VS Code. Okay, you see there is a lot of font here. So these are the default font. So we can use that font. But once we get into the project, we're not going to use these kinds of fonts. These are the older fonts. So we're going to add some new ways of font using Google font or using some downloaded font from third party. So I will teach you later that. But now you just want to understand the types of font, what is serif and the sans serif. Okay. So now the Time News Roman is actually the serif font. Okay, so I click this. So the now the every corner should be like in a sharp, right? So I just take this will take this only. Okay, not the Times. So this will take this Times New Roman and the type is serif. So if I come back here, the font got changed here. Okay, so if I hover this, you see in the bottom tooltip, the font 32 pixel and the family is Time New Romans Times Serif. Okay, the font got changed here. So this is a serif font. Each and every letter corners are very sharp. So what if I change this to sans serif? So what are the option font they have? So for example, they have this Arial. Okay, so they have this font. So I save this. I come back here. You see the font got changed here. You notice that?
Yes, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the sans serif. Okay, so now what you have to understand, there is a two type font in the web. So 99% the developer will use the sans serif only, not the serif font. So the serif font, where the serif font they will use means in the newspaper or some printing layout fine kind of things, they will use the serif font. But in the web, when you're getting into the web, most of the time 99% they will use the sans serif only. So if they use serif, no problem, we don't have any problem, because we can get the font what the we don't want to worry about the font type and font size and all, because we can able to manipulate the thing using the CSS, right? So just stick with the designer and what they are actually giving, you have to give what the input they are actually giving, you have to output it. Okay, so don't worry about that. So these are the two types of fonts. You have any doubt in this?
No,
No,
bro.
sir.
Okay, so it is very important. Okay, the box model is one of the most important concept in the CSS. If you don't understand this box model, then upcoming section is very hard to track with me. Okay, so it is very difficult, so make sure to listen carefully this one. So to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make sure to have some new CSS here. So this one is 3 CSS, the third day of the third session of the CSS. Okay, so I'm just going to drop this in the VS Code. I'm going to create an index.html, then style.css. So in the index.html, we just put this here. This one is box model. So here I'm just give a heading called box model. So the style is now empty. So now I open this in a browser. So okay, cool. So now the browser actually rendering out something what we gave here. Okay, so then here what I'm going to do now, I will just give you some theoretical kinds of things. Okay, so just imagine this is element. Okay, the element so just imagine there is a h1 element. So the h1 element has some content. Okay, so the content has some width and height. So this is actually how everything is work. Okay, if you have some box in your hand, if you put something in that box, so the box actually add some weight, right? So the same concept is applying here. There is an H1 element. If you're putting some content to that H1 element, so the H1 element is going to have some width and also the height of that of the font size. Okay. So the width and height the content has. So what about this padding, border, margin, top, right, bottom, left? So this is what we're going to learn. Okay. So the first thing, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make sure to have some box here. So the div takes h2 here. Okay, h2 takes hello. Now what is the height of div you uh, think it will come? So before that, I will show you the example. So now I will just go and open this out. So there is a div. Okay, there is a div. So the div, but the div is not having any element inside that. Okay. So here I hover the div. You see, this is the box model. Okay, this is the box model. The style tab, you can see the box model here. Now you see we have some width here. First parameter is width and the second parameter is height. So we have some width 1264 pixel into 0. What is that? 0 is an height. Okay, so we don't have any height now. Why? Because we have not put any content inside to that div, right? You see it's an empty div. So just imagine you have some box. That box is an empty. So what is the box of the weight? Just tell me. You have any box? You have a box in your hand. Okay, the box is empty. What is the weight of box?
0.
0, right? So 0. So now the same concept, you have some div here. Inside the div, it is empty. So that's what it has some width. Okay, because the width, it's a block level element, it's going to have some width, but you just consider the height. Okay, the height is 0. So because the div is actually empty. Once I make sure to enable this hello here, the h2 takes an hello content and we are actually closing here. Okay, so now we put some element inside to that div element. So now if I come back here, you see the height is 28 pixel. You see why? Because we put something inside to that actual div, right? You understand?
Yes, sir.
So now the height is change 0 to 28. Why? Because there is a logic. We put something inside to that div. Okay, everything is good. So now I'm going to make this div style. So here I'm going to call the link. I'm going to reference the style.css here. So here I'm just called the and just make sure to have some class here that is called box. So dot box takes a width of 250 pixel, height of 250 pixel, and the background color should be blue. And inside the color should be white. Okay, the text color. I'm saying about the text color. So the hello is actually returning here. You see the hello is coming, the div width is 250 pixel and the height is 250 pixel. Now what you think the box model would return now? So we'll check. Okay, so I just select the box here. You see it is actually having 250 pixel of the width and 250 pixel of the height. Okay, why? Because we gave it to the css here, to that element, to that box element, to the box we gave with 250 pixel, height 250 pixel, and the background color and the color to it. So that what it actually returning the width and height equal to 250 pixel. Okay, everything is fine. Okay, so now we have inside some hello also here. So now you understand this part, the width and height, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is now everyone understand, because it is very important thing. Just let me know that everyone should understand this.
Yes, bro.
Did that. Okay. Okay, so what I want to explain one more. I think your voice is very slow, that's why I'm asking again. So okay, we'll take Understood, sir. Okay, thank you. So now this content has some width and height. Now we understand every content has some width and height. Okay, not only the H1, whatever you are putting inside to that as a content, because it's going to spread some, it's going to take some space, right? So it takes some space means, so it's going to have some width and height. Okay, everything is good. So now we have some padding here. What is that padding? And what is this border? What is this margin? What is going to do in a design? Okay, it is very important. So first thing, I'm going to create a border. Okay. The first thing, I'm going to create a border to that box. So how do we create a border to that box? The border property, 2 pixel. I'm just going to create for only for the top. Okay. Border top is 2 pixel, solid green. I will give you the example what is solid and dashed and kind of things. So I'm just add some border top, 2 pixel, solid green. Okay, so the border is what? It's a kind of one slight line, right, in the top of the box. So I'm coming back to this box model. You see there is a green line. You see, I just make sure to make this some thick. Okay, so now you see this 5 pixel green color border.
Yes, bro.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So now if I come back here, you see the border top now has 5 here. Okay, why? Because we gave that box top as a 5 pixel of border. So now the left, bottom, right is not having, is actually the some dash. Okay, it's actually showing some dash. What that means it's nothing. Okay, it's empty. So now the top is only having 5 pixel. Okay, that's cool. So what if should I add some border left here? Sorry, top right here. Okay, that right is actually the red color or the purple or pink, like this color. Okay, so this one is dashed. So the solid dash, now we'll see what the dash look like. So the dash is actually giving some this kinds of a line. Okay, kind of a small piece of line. It's actually having some space in between. Okay, so now you see the right side we have another 5. Why? Because we added right to that box. Okay, you understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now cool. So now we have bottom. Now for the bottom border, bottom, I'm just going to create a dotted. Okay, DOTTER, dotted. There is only 4 types of border here, but we're not going to use this dash or dotted. We always use solid only. Just I'm giving the examples. What are the things? What are the types of the border is actually there? So now this one is orange or okay. So this one is a yellow. Okay. So dotted border bottom. So you see the border bottom is coming as with the dot line in between. Every dot has some space. Okay. So this is border bottom. So now if I come back to here, so I'll actually what mistake I made. Okay, everything is good. So this box. So the box is now has some 5 at the bottom. Okay. So the same thing goes for the left, bottom and the left. Okay. So this one is for double. This one is double. So this double is has some 2 lines. Okay, in between, if you see, it has some 2 lines. Okay, so this is the thing. So it has 2 lines, that's it. So this is the difference between double, dot, dashed and solid. So it also now has some 5 pixel of border. Now you understand. Now we are actually added some border to that box. Okay, so everything is good. So now what I'm going to do, we can able to change the pixel each and every sides. Okay, so I'm going to make sure to have 1 3, this one is for 15 and this one is for 25. So it's actually going to have some what are the properties, what are the property value giving, it's going to output like this way. Okay, so that's good. So I'll just command it out. So we're not going to use like this way in a border and all. So I will give you a border 5 pixel solid gray. Okay, sorry, not the gray is not attractive. We'll give you the red. So the 5 pixel all around the corner with the red color. Okay, all sides, sorry, all sides we have some 5 pixel of the red color border. Okay, everything is good. So now if you see here, all sides are actually having 5 pixel of the border. So this is a short form of the property. How we actually previous time we did, we were targeting the top, right, bottom, left. Now we actually gave it as a border 5 pixels solid red. So now we change all sides to red color. Okay. So now good. So actually now I'm going to off the h1 margin. Okay, because if I hover this, every element has some own margin and padding. Okay, so I will teach you this already, right? No,
Yes,
did
sir.
I explain this? Every element has some margin and padding default.
No.
No.
Okay, so every element has margin and padding. Okay, not all element, but div is not having any margin or padding, but this element is having some margin h1 and h2 and h1 is having some margin here. But if I come back to my style.css, you see we have not called the h2 or h1 here. Okay, then how the margin came there? The margin is actually space. Okay, how the margin is actually taking place here? So this is the default styling what the browser is actually giving, or what the browser is actually applying to this h1 and h2. Okay, so that I'm going to off now. This is called a margin. So I will give you the example what margin and thing later, so don't worry about that. So I'm targeting the h2 because the h2 is inside the box. So I'm going to call the margin 0 pixel. Okay, so now this how is going to actually sitting in the top of this box inside corner. Okay, now good. So now we understand what is border. Now we want to understand what is padding and margin, right? So first we get into the padding. Okay, so the padding. So now the box needs some padding. So what the padding is going to do? So the padding top is 50 pixel. Okay, I'm just adding some padding top here. If I come back here, you see inside we have some space now when I add the padding. Okay, so now we got some space here. Okay, that's cool. So what if I add padding left here? So now the left side is box having some padding, and also box got increased. Okay, it's not in 250 pixel now because we're adding some space inside to that. You see the box original size is 310 pixel and 310 pixel. Okay, because we are actually adding some spacing inside to that box, so this box should want to enlarge, right? So now this one is 310 and 310. So we gave top and right with padding. So now we have right 50 pixel. So now we have some right 50 pixel. You see the little color is actually visible here. Not, you just don't care about the blue color. This light color is actually the padding. Okay, if I hover this, you see the light color is actually showing there. That is the padding. What that mean? It's saying this box element is having some padding. Okay, that's what it actually mean. So when I hover, when I hover the content, so it's showing the exact 250 pixel of the height and the width. And if I hover this padding, it just show where the padding is actually located. Okay, if you see all of the top top and left and right, the padding is actually located. So that's what we are having some different slight color variation in that box, inside the box. Okay, so what about if I give to that box to the padding bottom, so 50 pixel. Okay, so now we have four sides with the 50 pixel of padding. So the padding is inside of the box spacing. Okay, in between the border and the content, the padding is going to the take place. Okay, you see the border and the content in between, the padding going to take place. Okay, so where the margin is going to take place. Now we understand the padding, right? So once I give you the example of margin, you will clearly understand. So wait, I will give you that. So here I'll give you the margin top here 50 pixel. Okay, so if I save this, come back here, you see, okay, I will give you the margin left because that is not a good thing. So margin left is 50 pixel. Now I have not saved the page now until so you see the left corner is actually near to this window, right? So if I save this, the box is actually moving a little bit to the right side, right? Why? because this box now has some margin. Don't care about this right side lot of the big orange color. Okay, just care about this box right side. You see that we added the top with 50 pixel and the left with 50 pixel, so that's what is actually creating some space. Okay, so what you should want to understand now, the padding is going to give a space between the border and the content. The margin is going to give the space outside of the box. Okay, that's the simple rule. Okay, so if I make the changes to left to right, right, and this one is BOTTOM, margin bottom. So if I come back here, if I hover this, so you see it has left, top, bottom, right. Okay, so this is how the margin is actually working. So the padding is inside of the box spacing, so the margin is outside of the box spacing. That's it. Okay, you understand?
Yes, sir.
So that's it, very simple. Okay, when using the padding, if you want to give some space inside the to the box what you're creating, you have to use the padding. So if you want to give some space outside of the box, you have to use the margin. So that's it. Okay, that's the simple difference between the padding and the margin. Okay, so now I just we are actually target this kind of this way, right? The top, left, right, bottom. So is there any short syntax to do this? Yeah, there is a short syntax to do this. So now I just make command this out. So the padding is 50 pixel. What it should going to do, should going to apply all the corners. Okay, you see all the corners, the top, left, right, bottom, all the corners, it should apply the green the padding. So now padding takes 2 parameter. Okay, so this is going to apply this apply spacing. Okay, this apply four sides of spacing. Okay, so spacing. Okay, the same 50 pixel. So what if I pass 50 pixel and 100 pixel? Okay, what if I pass like this way in the padding? So 50 pixel, 100 pixel, we'll just see the output. Okay, so the first parameter takes top and bottom. So the top and bottom is 50 and left and right should be in the 100 pixel. So that's what it takes. The first parameter goes for top and bottom. Second parameter goes for left and right. Okay, so this applies. I'll just make sure to comment here so that you can able to understand easily when you open this code. So this apply the first parameter for top and bottom, and second, okay, the second meter for left and right. Okay, first for top and bottom, the second for left and right. Okay, it's cool. So you understand, right? What bro?
Yes, bro, I understand.
Yeah, okay. So what if I pass four parameter here, top 50 pixel, 100 pixel, 150 pixel, 200 pixel here. Okay, what if I pass four parameters? So what it should work like, top, right, bottom, left. Okay, top, right, bottom, left. If I go and see here, see this, you see the top is 50 pixel. So I just to make sure to highlight this one. So I coming back to my box model. So the top is 50 padding and the right is 100 and the bottom is 150 and the left is 200. Okay, so to when you passing the four parameter, this is the order: top, left, bottom, right. So this is what I made here. Top, you cannot able to change the order. Okay, so this is the order: top, right, bottom, left. To I'll just make sure to command this. So top Okay. First is top. Second is top right. Third is bottom. And the fourth is left. Okay. Top, right, bottom, left. Okay. So now you understand what is the difference between the padding and the margin.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's cool. So anyone have any doubt in this padding and margin? Yes, sir. Okay. Tomorrow, what's your task is you have to make sure to give the spacing in between the left and right and the bottom top using this short syntax. Okay. The
Okay.
short syntax. No, don't just practice this using the margin left, right, top like this. Use this single margin to apply all four sides, and use this margin for top and bottom, and second parameters for left and right. So and then use this for four sides. Okay, the top, right, bottom, left. Okay, so this is the tomorrow task. So now it's actually it is good place to stop, I think, because you have to understand this box model. Without knowing the box model, you cannot able to jump into some other session, because you have to learn this. Okay, so this box model, I just show you the each and every specific sides of target, and we can change the element values, the padding and margin. Here we change that top, right, bottom, left. I also showed this one, and also I had showed this one. First parameter is for the top and bottom, second parameter is for the left and right. Okay, so tomorrow, once you get completed that, we can get into this box sizing positions. Okay, so this is also very important. So first, make sure to you just go and read this today. Okay, so do you have any doubt and kind of any other things?
Sir, where and how it will be used? For what purpose?
Yeah, you have to give some spacing in the website. No, so for example, so if I open okay, apple.com. Okay, so there is a space here, right? So there is a space here. This is what we're going to use this is where the padding and margin is going to give you a hand. Okay,
Okay.
to make some spacing and some alignment. So you see this inside the box, they use some padding here. Okay, inside the box.
Okay.
So this is where we're going to use the padding, but now I know that I'm actually giving you some theoretical way of experience, but when you understand the basics of that everything, we just jump into the project. Okay, don't worry about that. So we're going to implement all the things what we learned in this previous, and then we're going to use that in project. Okay, don't worry, I will give you the real world example where we use how to use and all. Okay, so
Okay.
okay, so actually, today that admin asked me to pay the fees.
Yes, sir. Great.
Yeah. So just talk with admin. Okay. Just ask them to speak with you. Okay.
Sir, I have paid sir, today evening.
Okay. Okay. So no problem. If someone have not paid, please pay, please. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I will ask them to send the recorded section as soon as possible. Okay. So because I'm
Yes,
not
students
having, I'm
also
not.
is not given.
Yeah. Okay. I will speak to them because I'm not having that admin access, because that's the problem. So I'm not working there as a employee, so that's a problem. Okay, so I will ask them to make sure to send that soon. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, take care. Bye bye. Let's
Can
see
it?
tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, I will send you the code now itself. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
Okay, sir.
go and
Yes,
practice
sir.
today. Don't forget to practice, because it is very important. Okay.
Okay.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye bye, take care.
Okay.
Yeah.